Hi friends, welcome to the Kriba Center for Excel in Nursing Education and Service. In today's session, we'll be discussing about important topics like descriptive statistics in nursing. As we know, why statistics is important in nursing field. Yes, friends, we are dealing with the vital events for taking care of patients and lot of data we are collecting and that needs to be documented by using the mathematical technique. And here comes this descriptive statistics. So in this today's session we'll be dealing about importance of using descriptive statistics in nursing and various concepts related with statistics, especially in descriptive statistics, and the different approaches we use to represent the data in nursing as such. As we know, let's have a look at the definition on what do you mean by descriptive statistics. It is nothing else. The application of mathematical technique in order to represent the collected data. Let's say the definition. It statistics which deals with enumeration, organization and representation of collected data to help the investigator to interpret in a meaningful way so that he or she can answer the research questions in an appropriate way based on the assumptions or the hypothesis. As we know, the commonly used descriptive statistics are the basic things like frequency distribution, percentage, proportions, rate and graphical or the diagrammatic representation. Next one is the measures of central tendency like mean, median and mode. Measures of variability or the dispersion like range, standard deviation and variance. And the measures of relationship between two or more variables like correlation coefficient or the regression analysis. In this session, we will be dealing with the first aspects like the percentage, proportion, rate and the representation. So before going to that, let's recall certain familiar concepts which are related with the descriptive statistics. That first one is vital statistics. What do you mean by vital statistics? The data pertaining to the vital events, because we nurses deal with human life and the events or the vital events occur in among our patients or in the community are very much important and that have a very influential role in the state or the national level statistics in delivering patient care or the quality services. So the definition of vital statistics is the statistics when it is applied in the field of nursing related to health aspects, then it is known as the vital statistic. On the other hand, we can say there's statistics related to vital events of life of a person or the sickness that. that occur in the community or in their nation or at the global level. common examples are which we use in our field are birth rate, death rate, sickness rate, mortality rate, morbidity rate, and it goes on. All these places we use the descriptive statistics. And the other commonly used term is the percentage. As you know, it is nothing else. Percent means out of 100, how much you scored. So it is usually represented by the symbol percentage, and we all know. And when we are using the percentage, the whole is considered to be made up of 100 equal parts. And out of 100, how much is your score? Or how much is the hospital data? Or how much is the community data? Based on that, we will be taking it. Maybe 100% coverage of immunization. Usually, the wide immunization, we could say that 100%. Or pulse polio immunization, maybe 99%. Like that we used to represent the data. Similar way, one more other definitions under the descriptive statistics is the proportion. Is the ratio which indicate the relation of magnitude of a part to the whole. As a whole, how much it is coming, and that is represented by again the percentage. For example, how many children got scabies out of all the malnourished children? Or out of under 5 children, how many children are suffering third degree malnutrition? Got it? So that way, proportion, the whole, and it is represented by again the percentage. The next one is rate. It's very familiar term and usually you use. It's the measure the occurrence of some particular events in a population during the given period or time. On the other hand, we can say that it's a statement of risk developing condition. So it indicates change in some event take place in a population over a period of time. Infant, for example, commonly used one is infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, morbidity rate, isn't it? And it is represented by the number of events divided by median population out of 1000. Usually it is represented by 1000 population. If we take how many children are affected, how many death rate during the medieval population is we are taking it. And based on that we will be getting. Next one is ratio. What do you mean by that? It's another measure of disease. It expresses the relation in size between two random quantities. Ratio is the result of dividing one quantity by another, or it is represented in the form of x, y is to y. Next comes the important one like frequency distribution. What do you mean by that? Distributing the data based on its frequency. We are organizing it for the purpose of analyzing and interpretation. So let's see the definition. It's the process of condensing total data. The total data what we have collected, we are condensing into a concise form so that we could give an answer to the question with minimal loss of information is frequency distribution. And usually the frequency distribution is represented through tables, chart, graph and diagram. Next, let's see how we represent data in descriptive statistics. We can represent the data by using different methods. They are textual method, tabular method, diagrammatic and graphical methods. As we know, the textual methods are nothing else. It is in the text form we will be preparing everything, and based on that we will be summarizing, interpreting in the summary discussion. Like that way we will be condensing all the data and representing that what does it mean. And next one is the tabulation. What do you mean by tabulation? It is nothing else arrangement of collected data based on the range of value to take up by the variable along the respective frequency or occurrence of variable. And let's see why we use this tabulation. What are the functions of tabulations? Why it is important? Because we use the tabulation in order to summarize the data in a systematic way. Next one is the functions of tabulation. We could say that this table will clarify the data in a simple form. Next is it facilitates the data for a comparative study. So once the table is ready, we can compare the data with the other one, maybe with the standard one or with another similar studies conducted, etc. And we can represent entire data with the minimum space or within a minimum space. And reveals the data at a glance, or we could say that the table gives a bird's eye view on entire data. So these are some of the functions of tabulation. Let's see the tabular representation of data in this session. Little bit detail as such. We have discussed about the functions of table. Now, how to construct a table? There are certain points we need to keep it in your mind when we construct a table. First one is the data what we have collected should be arranged either in ascending order or in the descending order. Either ascending or descending order, arrange the data and see the range. In order to calculate the range, we need to find out the smallest value and the highest observation and subtract the smallest value from the highest range. That will give you the value of range. Next, after the calculation of the range of data, we need to find out the number of classes. An ideal table should have minimum 7 or maximum 15 class interval. So here there is no particular restriction so that this many numbers should be there or what. But it is said minimum 7 should be there or maximum not more than 15 class interval. And then what we have to see is first decide how many class intervals should be there, then obtain the width of the class interval by dividing the range of observation with the number of class interval. And the class limits must not overlap and avoid open-ended classes at the upper or lower ended. Then find out the number of observation made in each class interval and mark its frequency. At the last, percentage can be calculated by dividing the frequency in a given class by total number of observation and then multiply by 100. So these are the certain points you need to keep it in your mind while constructing a table. First one, arrange either ascending or descending order. Find out the smallest or the highest value, and then after that range you need to identify it or calculate it and keep it in your mind how many class interval you need to have for this particular table. Based on that, divide the range with the class interval, and so that you will get the width of the class interval. Based on that, you can categorize the class limit and the observation made. You can mark it against each class interval, and later you can find out the percentage. Simple. The commonly used types of tables are frequency distribution table or the margin table, contingency table or the multiple response table. What do you mean by frequency distribution table or marginal table? It is nothing else. It's an orderly arrangement of data in a table with its frequency and the percentage distribution of the collected data from a sample or from the summary format. It's simple tabulation, and so that it is otherwise known as the marginal tabulation or marginal table. And here the table represents its frequency and the percentage distribution out of the collected data. On the other hand, contingency table. It is a simultaneous representation of 2 or 3 nominal or ordinal variable in the same table with the corresponding frequency distribution based on its category of variable, which is used in the study. It is known as the contingency table. Here we could see that difference is here 2 or 3 nominal or ordinal variables in the same table. Let's have an look at the example. So here in this table we could see that male and female, and on the other hand we could say that right-handed and left-handed. So here 2 variables are represented. One is about the sex, male or female. On the other hand, right-handed people and left-handed. So from this table we get that out of 100, how many right-handed male? 43. How many left-handed male? 9. And how many total males are there is 52. And out of 100, again, female, how many right-handed? 44. How many left-handed? 4. The total female in this sample is 48. Again, we could see that out of the sample, how many right-handed is the total? 87. 43 plus 44. Again, left-handed is 13 out of 100. Got it? So, more than 2 or 3 nominal or ordinal variables are represented in the with its frequency in the same table, then it is known as the contingency. Next one is about the multiple response table. This is a little bit complicated compared to the marginal or the contingency table. This is usually we could see mainly when we represent the qualitative aspects which or the attribute pertain to qualitative studies when it is analyzed by using SPSS and all. Let's see, when the table represents many variables under study, then it is known as the multiple response table. An example, we could see the like lot of attributes we have collected, that as like maybe it is a qualitative study and it's open-ended study, and the themes we have, content we have taken, and the reason for migration, it's maybe for the frequent higher wages 124 people, so percentage is 32. Okay, better job opportunity 102, better facilities, like there are a lot of factors are there. Its frequency, percentage of total response, all these aspects are there. So it's a little bit compared with other marginal table or the little bit complicated. Lot of factors are represented, and in the the variables which were used under the studies are represented in a one table itself. Then it is known as the multiple response table. That's how it's clear. So we have discussed like what do you mean by descriptive statistics? What are the commonly used terms like percentage, proportion, rate, ratio, frequency distribution. These are all the common terms or the common measurement terms used under vital statistics, and the various methods used to represent data like text, tabular, graphs and diagrams we have discussed, and at the end we discuss little bit detail about the tabular representation of data. Here, what do you mean by tabular definition and the function, how to construct a table, and what are the different types as such. Hope it is clear for you. This session is, if you find this session is useful, please like and subscribe it. And if you have any suggestion, please leave your comments so that we can improve. And once again, thank you very much. Bye. Have a nice day.